You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests. The Cuckoo Two.
Who's more cuckoo, though?
Well, let's see. I don't know.
I like Laurel.
Should we put that to a vote here?
Yeah.
Blake Vartanian, Jim Norton, Realty Pro 100. They are in the house. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
And I use that term very loosely. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. You know, I was wondering about this. I asked Josh about this before we got started this morning. And it seems to me that, you know, I couldn't understand it. It seemed like every time we do these celebrations, it seems like constantly we're coming up that it's National Tooth Fairy Day. And it's dawned on me, Josh, maybe this is it. You know, when I was little, or I had young kids, Tooth Fairy was when mom and dad somehow, mysteriously, the Tooth Fairy showed up when the kids lost their tooth and put it under their pillow or something like that. I'm wondering now if the Tooth Fairy is there, and they're the ones that take mom and dad's dentures. I don't know. Maybe that's what's going on, that it's Tooth Fairy Day, and when mom and dad can't find their dentures anymore, I don't know. Maybe that's it. And then you look at the other ones. So today is also National Floral Design Day. Didn't we just have Valentine's Day? Do we have to get back into flowers again? I don't know about that one either. And then, you know, again, we're talking in the month of Valentine's. Today's the 28th as we record this. Wouldn't sleeping in public be earlier in the month? Oh, no, it's public sleeping day. So I thought that was about Valentine's Day or the day before Valentine's Day if you don't have a significant other. Public sleeping day.
What is public sleeping?
This is a family show, sir. We're not going to go there.
I don't. They got to make these things up.
Yeah, well, maybe it's where you go to an airport or something like that.
Thinking is
Oh,
like
you
you
hang on the
sleep on
terminal.
a bench or something.
Well, that's homeless day.
Isn't that homeless?
That's all of California
I'm sorry.
anymore.
I'm
I don't
sorry,
know.
but-
Maybe that's for Gavin Newsom. I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Let's get back to it. And having beaten anorexia, one of my favorites,
Oh.
National Chocolate Souffle Day. I like that one. Some whipped cream. Put some
Order ahead.
Bavarian. Yeah, order.
Order the souffle.
Yeah, you got to order ahead. If you're going to a good restaurant, it's going to take them 30 minutes to make it properly. So we're just going to throw that out there. Let's see what the markets are doing today. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 65.8. S&P 500 is down 3. The NASDAQ is down almost 41. Oil's down 67 cents a barrel. And the 10-year Treasury, 4.29 right now. We're watching that one closely because that does deal with mortgage rates. Tomorrow we're going to get the PCE report. I'll talk about that more when we get into the mortgage minute. But, you know, every once in a while, you know, I'm on social media. If you're not following us, sorry, you should be. But I am on social media, all the different social channels. And I'm watching some things that are going across now, and we're getting into old times, and I want to get into something that's a little bit, I'm not going to say controversial, but just chaps my craw a little bit. So I'm going to talk about it anyway. We'll call it a workshop brought to you by, I don't know, whatever Josh puts on the screen. MyFavoriteLender.net. MyFavoriteLender.net. That'll work perfect. So here it is. I'm seeing these things going across. And I'm going to go back to my days of starting in lending. And we had something back then called a pre-qualification. And that's all we really dealt with at that time was pre-qualifications. And basically it said that, now again, you got to remember, this goes back a long time. And that was when lenders actually, you sat across the table from a borrower and maybe you knew them, maybe you didn't, but you can qualify somebody pretty quickly. Pre-qualified. Wasn't a whole lot of paperwork involved. Now, I was chatting with Jim Norton earlier today, and we were talking about the days of 2005, 2006, 2007, probably 20 years after I started lending. But back in even in the 05s, right? How did you qualify for a loan?
Fogged a mirror.
Well, if you could fog a mirror, that's all it took, right? No big deal. So we got past the pre-qualification day and we went to pre-approval. What is a pre-approval? So a pre-approval basically means that a lender, maybe a loan officer, collects documents, collects paperwork, looks at it. They have a good idea. Some of them know how to interpret income. Some don't. They all think they do. And they put it into a system. It's called desktop underwriter or loan prospector, depending upon what you're using. And it spits out and says approved eligible or approved refer or not approved, all these different things. Now, what is that good for? Because I get people all the time that'll call us and they say, well, my realtor wants to see the DU, desktop underwriter, the automated approval. AUS is another acronym for it. Automated underwriting system. And they want to see that. Why? Because they think it means something, which I'll tell you this right now. An automated underwriting, AUS, is only as good as the person that puts the data in. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. I can get an approved eligible anytime I want because I know what it's looking for. So you put in the garbage in that it wants to see, and it comes out saying approved eligible because you put in garbage knowing that that's what somebody wanted to see. You go the other step of it, and somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, a broken clock is correct twice a day. So they put in the wrong things, and maybe they'll get an approval, maybe they won't, but they didn't look at it properly. So that's called the pre-approval. Now we go to the next step, became a pre-underwrite. And it'll go by a lot of different names. Sometimes it goes by, and these are names that I've used in the past, because as the time progresses, we get some of these different issues. So a pre-underwrite went by fast pass or all these different names. It basically, this is the best type of an approval until recently. What a fast pass or a pre-underwrite does is all the documentation is sent to an underwriter. Now, an underwriter who's licensed as an underwriter, gone through all the training, the underwriter looks at all the documentation, the income, the assets, the liabilities, the credit report, something called a fraud guard report, LexisNexis, and the underwriter says, yes, I approve this loan subject to whatever conditions there might be. And all you need at that point is you need an address and you need title report and an appraisal. So that's the next level of this. And a lot of people are going out there saying, I've got this fast pass or I've got a pre-underwrite. This is great. This is wonderful. Until we get to the modern version. What is the modern version? It's something that we've taken on in the last year or two. We take that pre-underwrite to the next level. So we've got the pre-approval letter that most realtors want if you're going to look at making an offer. But we're putting on there, okay, these are the different loan programs. It's really put together a full dashboard for you. Here's the loan programs that we're looking at. Here's the prices that we're approved to. Here's some contingencies that we've already thought about. Taking it all to the next level, but it's way beyond what some people are saying is the underwrite, because the underwrite is now old. And I'll tell you how old it is. The California Association of Realtors actually has a box on there that you can check that says this file has been pre-underwritten. So just getting off my soapbox, make sure you're getting the modern pre-approval. Don't take any other copycats. The modern pre-approval is what you want. It's a dashboard. Generally, it's going to have a video from the loan officer saying, this is what we've done. This is what the due diligence that we've done. Here's the findings that we have. And it gives you all the information you need to go forward. And in many times, and I'm going to put this on some of our social channels. We've actually got, and I should have given this to Josh to put in here today. We've actually got documentation of loans closing 7 days, 9 days, because the lender does the due diligence up front. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, expert home price forecasts for 2024. Does it surprise you that they've been revised? Not at all. You can reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down, sure. We might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. They don't tell us points paid. They don't tell us points received or APR. They tell us that they calculate it from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. What did rates do yesterday? 30-year conforming loan, it was up just a little bit, 6.926. 30-year jumbo loan, it was up 7.156. FHA loan down a little bit, 6.688. USDA loans, that's the rural areas, generally no down payment, 6.751. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it, it was down a lot yesterday. That's the 30-year VA loan, 6.453. We love our veterans. If you want our market commentary, we send it out as early as the data allows each business morning, rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. Now, the OBMMI information I gave you, that's yesterday's data. So what's going on today? Well, I told you the S&P 500 is down 4.62. Today, the 10-year Treasury is down 2 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities are up 12 basis points. That means interest rates are down. Why? Well, that's what you're here for. All those other numbers are available on that super secret website, google.com. Let's talk about what happened. Oh, surprise, surprise. Can you believe that the government got another number wrong?
Surprise, surprise.
Second reading, Q4 GDP showed that the U.S. grew at 3.2% annualized pace, which is a decline from the first reading. And a lower rate of the growth from the government, 4.9% seen in Q3. So going from 4.9, now they're saying 3.2, but the economy's doing really good, Joe. Thank you. Slightly lower second reading helped bonds move a bit higher. PCE expectations. So this PCE, the personal consumption expenditures, that's the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. They're going to tell you inflation is going down. Now, you tell me, how does it feel? Right? I mean, we just saw that Wendy's is raising prices on their spending $20 million so they can charge more at certain times of the day. The Atlanta Fed wage tracker, wages in January moderated from 5.4% to 4.7%. Yeah, great economy, Joe. Thank you. And this figure was 6.2% a year ago. So we're heading the wrong direction. Wage growth would have been even slower. Now, can anybody guess why the wage growth wasn't as slow as it should have been? Would it surprise you to know that it's because of government wages increasing? Rose 6.7% year over year, an acceleration. So the rest of us working people, our wages are going down, go to work for the government, and they go up from 5.8 to 6.7.
Unless you're on Social Security.
Yeah, then it only goes up, 3%? Some of us aren't that old, Blake. Sorry.
Well, I'm not there yet, but I'm close.
And Adam Schiff wants to get a promotion from House of Representatives to Senate, because he's going to do something different than he's done for the last 600 years.
And one of his key elements of his campaign is he's going to bring down housing costs.
Right.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Consumer confidence. Confidence Board released their consumer confidence for February, showing that overall confidence fell from 111 to 107. Both the present situation and expectations for the future fell. Of importance was the job-related questions, which showed that those reporting jobs harder to get rose from 11% to 13.5%. This coincides with continuing claims which have elevated, showing it's harder to find a job once laid off. We also just heard that Macy's closing 30% of their stores, 150 stores. And I just saw this morning on a report from one of my favorite news sources. I've been watching her for a long time. Don't go there. But she's a brilliant, brilliant lady, Danielle DiMartino Booth. And she came out showing a report this morning. Retail sales in Dallas, the Dallas Fed retail sales report, showing retail sales are dropping. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a seasonal adjustment before it gets to us, but that is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. This morning, we get to chat with two of our favorites, Laurel and Blake and Jim. Blake Vartanian and Jim Norton, Realty Pro 100. What are we going to talk about? Who knows? When the guys show up, we planned for this. I guess we put this on the calendar about a month ago.
Yes.
And
being like our normal selves, we didn't do any homework prior to coming to
no homework. Dave Silva says to say hello to you guys.
Hello.
And whoa, thanks, Blake. He says that I'm a genius. Okay.
You're a genius.
Your gift card is on the way. Thanks, buddy. So what's going on with you guys? I mean, business is booming, and real estate, there's plenty of inventory.
I'm going to defer to my distinguished colleague, Oliver Hardy.
Every time I watch all the hooplas going on, I still go back to the basics. Supply and demand.
Okay.
Demand.
Well,
stay on the basics.
You saw a big supply number, so you shared a report with me just as we're going on air. Yes. That way I cannot do any homework. And you just blindside me. Yeah. The city of Orange from the California Association of Realtors.
Yes.
Okay, so
and again, as we've always said, you have to take data with a grain of salt. And so
who's providing it? What's their motivation? Exactly. And what are they really sharing?
Let's see. So they had bear with me.
Jim's got to get his old. He's got to get his glasses.
I got to get my glasses off.
He's already wearing contacts. And
he's
had corrective laser surgery.
And I've got the big words on the phone.
So what does it say? What is California Association of Realtors?
January of 24, existing single-family residence home sales were 34. Yeah.
Okay. No. Okay. So I'm going to harass you a little bit because
up 21% from last year.
Okay, so if you go from 0 to 4,
to 4, you're up 21%.
Right? I mean, so just remember, we went from a very low number. Now that says that that was how many homes sold, or that was how many are available for sale?
Existing home sales, 34 in January.
Okay, so now
active listings, 31 in January, down 35%. So sales were up. Inventory was down.
Okay.
All right. Median price was up 21%.
Now let's just go back to remembering, because again, another institution puts out a number that's totally worthless. Median home price is a worthless number. That is the mix of properties being sold. It has nothing to do with the valuation of your property or appreciation of your property. Zero to do with it. So,
Okay.
and I have fun because our friends over at Chapman University in the city of Orange,
Yeah.
when they put out their numbers, they talk about home prices dropping, and then they say, "Oh, it's the median price," which has zero value except to an economist.
Let me give you one more. This is the best part.
Okay.
Because you always have people looking, and you can simply say supply and demand, and they want to see numbers, etc. This is the market competition, they call it, for January. Median days on the, again, median, I love the word. Median days on the market, 21 days. So nothing's sitting.
So it's selling quick.
Even at median days of 21, under 30 days. So things are moving. So if if a house is on the market, it's not going to be there that long. Number one, sales to list price percentage, 100.5%.
So people are either
getting their
overbidding
number.
or
No, it means
listing low.
it's dead on.
105%.
Well, no, 100.5.
100.5. Okay.
So that
So if
means
you get a good realtor, they know what they're doing.
that means they're priced right and they're selling right. Nobody's,
Now Dave
there's no
actually
swing going
so
on.
Dave's sharing some current data because
Well,
CAR gives
this
you
is-
old data.
Again, this is
January.
just for January.
So,
Last one,
hang
Dave,
on.
before
Before you go on there. So current data, because now here's a little bit of a misleading bit, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And I want to tell you why I think it's a little bit misleading. So right now they're showing 45 homes are available, but the data that Jim's sharing right there is single family. When you look at homes, that's going to be condo plus single family. So right now, when I look at this, and I use Altos Research, I'll tell you exactly where I get my data. Altos Research says there's 33 single family homes available for sale. And when you add the 12 condos that are for 12 condos for the whole city that are available for sale, you get the exact 45 that Dave just shared with us. That's 45 active listed today.
Right. Now think of the geographic range of which the city of Orange is, all the way from the block, all the way out to the 241. Yep. And there's only 12 condos for sale in that entire area.
Right.
There was yesterday, I watched, I actually had to go back and rewind it. I leave one of the business channels on in the background. And so I heard the housing report and see the gal said something. Again, this is national. But what it struck me in the whole deal is that the hierarchy, the gentleman that was hosting the show asked about housing hierarchy. There used to be an entry level condo, townhome.
Mid-range.
Then you would buy that in your 20s, sell it and move to the house in your 30s, 40s, 50s, then downsize back to something.
We call that
smaller.
right sizing, sir. Especially as I get older and older.
But there was a mix of inventory for
Sure.
this. 12 condos, and I guarantee you, probably they're all 20 plus years old. I mean, there's no balance of housing being developed. Everybody talks about we need to build housing, we need to do this with housing. And there's no balance of housing.
What was the point of the conversation
from
that commentary?
The point of the conversation is that where they, in Florida, Texas, everybody wants to say that everybody's leaving California because they hate California. No, they're leaving California because you can get the housing supply in areas like Texas where they have built that mix of product. Florida, where they've built that mix of product.
Well, people like freedom though too. But that's a different subject. You're listening to Ron. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, expert home price forecast for 2024 revised upward. We'll talk about it. You can reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I should put a bow on the last segment that we were talking about just real quick before I get into the real-time real estate segment. If you want the data that I look at for housing, and I look at, this is just one of the sources of data, but I do give this one away free to you. You can go to rsrlistana.com, rsrlistana.com, and you can get any zip code in America. You can find out exactly how many single-family residents, how many condos are available at any given time. rsrlistana.com. When you go there, you're going to get the information for Anaheim because we have to start somewhere. Then when you register, you just put in your zip code, and it'll give you the report for your unique zip code. Because we talk about a lot of times on Ron Siegel Radio, we're talking about national information. And real estate, I'm not sure. We'll talk about that after the real-time real estate segment with the guys. But real estate, I'm not sure even a zip code is really correct. You know, it's block by block. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Expert home price forecast for 2024. They've been revised up. Have I been telling you this all year?
You mean the Fed's plan's not working?
Exactly. But this one, we're going to get even more granular here. Over the past few months, experts have revised their 2024 home price forecasts based on the latest data and market signals, and they're even more confident prices will rise, not fall. So let's see exactly how experts' thinking has shifted and what's caused the change. 2024 home price forecast then and now. The chart that we're going to show you, if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, you're seeing the chart. It compares the forecasts that these experts had made at the end of 2023 with their newest projections. So Goldman Sachs, their original forecast for 2024, this is going from November of 2023 to the current. It's not that long. So they said originally in November of 2023, Goldman Sachs forecast real estate to appreciate in 2024 1.9%. Should we guess at where they're at right now? Anybody want to put a guess out there? Yeah, we've got the drum roll right here on Ron Siegel Radio.
6.5.
6.5. Jim? He's got my chart right in front of me.
Okay.
Okay. 5%.
I was a genius for a minute.
So Mortgage Bankers Association, 1.1 to 4.1. Zillow, because they get everything right.
Yeah.
Their original forecast was for appreciation of 0.2. Now they're saying 3.5. Fannie Mae was 2.8. Now they're 3.2. Freddie Mac was 2.6. Now they're 2.8. The best one on the market, in my opinion, and I'm right, Home Price Expectation Survey. They said 2.2. Now they say 2.4. And the National Association of Realtors, 0.7. Now 1.9. Now remember, out of all of these, the only ones, if I was just kind of a consumer advocate, which I am, the only ones I'd really be looking at, I wouldn't pay attention to the Mortgage Bankers Association. I wouldn't pay attention to Zillow because they're always wrong. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and the National Association of Realtors. Those four have a vested interest in what they tell you. Goldman Sachs, sort of. So I'd look at Goldman Sachs. And the reason I like the Home Price Expectation Survey is it comes from Pulseonomics, and they survey 150, over 100. Sometimes, last time I think it was 117 people that are experts in economics They're going from institutions, from industry, from banking, from government. But they put all those together in average amounts. When you put together that many people that get paid lots of money to do something, you average them out, then you might get close to accurate. So middle column shows, I just told you about that. There are two big factors keeping such strong upward pressure on home prices. The first, how few homes are for sale right now. According to Business Insider, quote, low home inventory is a chronic problem in the U.S. This generally kept home prices up, unquote. Blake mentioned supply and demand in the last segment. A lack of housing inventory has been pushing prices up for a long time now, and that's not expected to change dramatically this year. But what has changed a bit is mortgage rates. Late last year, when most housing experts were calling for home prices to rise only a little bit in 2024, mortgage rates were up and buyer demand was more moderate. Now that rates have come down a little bit from their peak from in October and will further declines expected over the course of the year, buyer demand has picked up. That increase in demand, along with an ongoing lack of inventory, is what's caused the experts to feel the upward pressure on prices will be stronger than they expected a couple months ago. Look forward to get a hold of the next forecast revisions. Real estate experts regularly revise their home price forecasts as the housing market shifts. It's a normal part of their job that ensures their projections are always up to date and factor in the latest changes in the housing market. That means they'll continue to revise their projections as the housing market changes, just as they've always done. How those forecasts change next is anyone's guess, but pay attention to mortgage rates. If they trend down as the year goes on, as they're expected to do, that could lead to more buyer demand and even higher home price forecasts. Basically, it's all about supply and demand. Want to chat about it? Give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That's the real-time real estate segment again. So tell me about, was I supposed to say it's brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com? Okay, so let's get back to our conversation. Blake Vartanian and Jim Norton, Realty Pro 100 in the house. Where are you guys seeing prices going? Do you think they're going to go up, down, sideways?
Oh, I think they're going to go up, but they're not going to skyrocket. The markets, personally, I see the market as being sort of a neutral. People are buying, people are selling. Interest rates are high, so there's not a frenzy going on. But at the same time, there doesn't seem to be a bubble situation. If you're thinking that prices are going to, you're waiting on the fence because you want to wait for prices to go down, I don't know what's going to gain you, because you have to have prices go down, interest rates go down if you're sitting on, if that's your mentality. But the reality
are interest rates really high?
Pardon?
Are interest rates high though?
Well, a problem is I'm old. So to me, no, they're not that high. They're higher than 3.
Absolutely.
But you know what? You have to, it's a personal situation. If you're making some of the salaries they're making today, then no, they're not that high. They're
well, right now they're at 6.92 if we go by OBMMI yesterday.
Right.
And I think I've got a chart in here somewhere. I have no idea where it is, but I think it shows that historic average over the last 50 years is 7.18.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Remember, we had that conversation.
We've got like 10 years of time that, we've kind of been
a really good run.
Yeah.
And we did that, you know what? After 2005 to 2013, I think it was, there's a really good run on prices. Prices had dropped because that particular recession or depression, you want to call it, was based on real estate activity, financing, so that prices did drop, and that's why it was.
But
a
it
bubble.
took historic fraud to make that happen.
Yes, it did.
I mean,
but
let's face it.
At the same time, we don't have a bubble situation. There's nothing going on. I mean, we're not overbuilding. We're not underbuilding. We're just
somebody can make a case that we're underbuilding.
Yeah.
Well, you could,
right. I mean, because we need
California, you can.
Well,
but
I don't know about California numbers, but I do know nationally we're creating 1.9 million households every year, and we're building about 1.3 to 1.4 million households.
Well, you can blog just into Google and ask how many. What's that? The unfilled housing needs for California, and it says we have to build 3.5 million units between now and next year, 2025, in order to get to a balanced supply and demand.
Yeah, but
in
Google's
where?
I'm not.
In the
I'm.
nation?
I'm just telling you that's what the data is there.
No.
If you can,
Well, that's
so you
what-
can make an argument that
I mean-
one way or another, whether
Well,
you
you-
believe it or not, it's a different story.
For
the
40
beauty of it is on that though is over time, Chapman University has come back and said that that's a California state statistic, and Chapman University has come back in their California economic forecast and said it's overstated a bit.
Okay, but
Right.
even if there's no, if it's just 500,000,
Right.
even if it's 1,000,000, it's what the point is that we typically for prices to drop, you have to have an oversupply,
Absolutely.
right? It doesn't matter whether it's gasoline, doesn't matter whether it's stores in the shelves on the stores. I mean, remember,
Eggs.
remember, I mean, yeah, eggs. Remember in the pandemic, I mean, one row of the store had items on it. We'd never walked into a grocery store that had empty shelves
Right.
in our lifetime. And then we saw it and we went, wow, this is what happened? What happened to America, the land of
we needed a
prosperity?
lot
Within
of
that,
toilet paper then.
no, well, there's a lot more than just that, though, as it turned out to be. People started hoarding things that we never even thought of, right?
Sure,
I mean,
yeah,
you want
absolutely.
to get household cleaning stuff, you want to get
Toilet
gloves,
paper.
yeah, of course. So, but my point is that
Jim's fixated on toilet
Yeah, I
paper.
guess
the
so.
same thing is possible on any given day. There could be 10,000 people in Orange County who decide just by coincidence or what, it doesn't even have to be an event. We just say, I want to sell my house today. And if all those homes hit the market at the same time, it would change the market instantly.
Absolutely.
That's all I look at. And so you can't predict how many people will decide to do that in the privacy of their own home, that they, for whatever their life mission is, that they decide they want to put a piece of real estate on the market the next day. So the only day we can deal with is today.
Sure.
And as you said before, the market is street by street by street by street. So what's going on in Buena Park probably has little or nothing to do with what's going on down in Mission Viejo.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I always go back to the simple thing. If no houses are on,
I love this. You gotta preface this one and frame this right.
yeah.
I love this.
So this is how I
No,
describe.
Blake's simple method of
This is my
of-
simple method for real estate professionals and for consumers to understand the real estate market. If there are no properties for sale on the street you live in a seller's market. If there's one listing, you're still in a seller's market. If there's two listings that are unsold, you're now in a balanced market. And if there's 3 or more listings on your street that are unsold, you are in a buyer's market, because you have a competitive environment in which you have to compete with your neighbors to get the price you want for the sale of your property.
and the buyer has
And if I had a microphone, I'd drop it.
yeah, and in that
He's gonna get up and
situation,
walk away.
in that situation, the buyer has options. If somebody says,
Yeah.
I want to live on Main Street,
Yeah.
and there's one house for sale, guess who's in control? Right? The seller's in control.
Well, it's like BMW keeps sending me messages. We want to buy your car back, because I happen to have a rare model of a car that just happened to fall out of escrow. In their case, the buyer walked away from a very customized car that he ordered, and it was sitting there on the showroom floor. And I went in on a Friday. They told me it was sold. I went in on a Tuesday and it was still sitting there. And I said, what's it doing sitting there? And they said, because the buyer walked away. I said, no, he didn't. He's standing right here.
And they didn't realize that Blake's lifespan of a car is usually
About three and a half weeks. If it needs gas or an oil change, I've had it too long.
That's too long. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Blake and Jim. I probably spoke more than I'm supposed to, so we won't do Your Credit Matters misconceptions about couples and credit. We'll probably get that in tomorrow. You can reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. We'll be back in just a minute.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily Home and Finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule your appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com. for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I will tell you, Your Credit Matters, brought to you by rsrnodebt.com, rsrnodebt.com. There is no reason for you to be in debt right now, to be suffering and having sleepless nights over debts. If you have a home with equity, give us a call. Let's talk about your blended household interest rate. If you do not have a home and you don't have any equity then, but you've got debts, give us a call. We've got a solution for that too. This is a solutions show. So there is opportunities there. Student loans, the private student loans, auto, credit card, unsecured debt. We've got solutions. rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. And I put the wrong one in at the beginning. Even though Josh has a Q there for me, I still said it wrong. rsrdebtfree.com. Continue our conversation. Blake Vartanian, Jim Norton. We're in the house talking about pricing, forecasts, real estate valuations, inventory. So I don't know which one you want to take this one. Where do you think, what's going to get inventory or loosen up inventory in the marketplace as a whole? I mean, it's certainly not going to be the homeless coming in.
I'll jump in. I'll jump into that one right off the bat. Interest rates are going to.
So we're not going to ever have more inventory if interest rates stay around the historic norm of 7.18.
But it's going to help people get through that. Maybe I should change that to time, because as people adjust to the 7% rate, let's just call it 7.
So you can go to work for Goldman Sachs now because
Yeah.
in a short 2 months period, they changed their forecast.
I changed my forecast faster than that. So I guess interest rates, but in the essence, it's the time for people to have acceptance. We're now in the 7% that the 3% has left. As everything goes up fast and down slow, you might get some dips and stuff in there, but you're back to the reasonable 7% interest rate, and people are going to get comfortable with it. They're going to realize that's what we're going to deal with, and they're
going to realize that the
3%
3%
who control most of it, the baby boomers that control most of the real estate because they bought it so long ago, they're going to be changing out of it, and then they're going to start thinking, okay, I do need to downsize, or I'm going to go live somewhere with.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate with you.
Sure.
So John wants to get divorced, and he's got a 3% mortgage rate. Is he keeping his house or is he getting rid of it?
She gets the house.
Okay.
What are you talking about? John doesn't have a choice.
John doesn't have a
choice.
choice.
He's in California. He's toast. No, it's
so there's certain things that are outside.
That's specific. We have to. I mean, you're talking about ways to get inventory, and the baby boomers control the inventory.
Can I give your audience a little thought?
Yes.
For the day? So 2017, I did a survey of the 8 cities around our location here in Orange.
Okay.
And there were 53,000 people or 53,000 properties that were owned without a mortgage, which means those people have the most amount of cash sitting in their homes. And it's debt equity, as most of us would call it.
Right.
They've been around a while. And that means it's not going to work for them. So
as efficiently as possible.
It's
still gonna,
right. It's still working. It's still
growing.
appreciating. But
if you took the money out, the property
most people believe that is the best thing they can do with that money is leave it sitting as equity in their house. And I'm not debating whether it is or not. What I'm saying is they probably don't understand what alternatives there are to consider. So when you look at how do you build wealth today, that same number of cities has 83,000 properties, up 30,000 properties in the last 6 years of new wealth that's been created. You have people who have made a lot of money in the stock market in the last run up. Since last October, it was at 32,000, and now it's 38,000 in the Dow Jones. If you bought the right stock, you've made a lot of money. when the stock market never goes up forever.
Sure.
So it will start to come down. And as it starts to come down, money's going to shift. And where's it going to shift to?
Other asset classes.
These asset classes, real estate, bonds, whatever.
Sure.
So after the 87 crash in the stock market, the real estate market took off. And 88 was unbelievable. There were 6,600 units a month selling in Orange County, according to DataQuick at that time. That was the high per month. I want you to think about that. Now we're here sitting with a couple of thousand, and that's 6,600 then on a population that's well over 1 million people less than there is today.
Wow.
So if you want to take the interest rate argument out of it, or the interest rate environment out of the conversation, I can share it openly, because there's no way I could, if all 86,000 or 83,000 of those people said, okay, Blake, we want to understand what you're trying to do. There's an abundance for everyone.
Well,
and you can't contact them all. There's no way.
Okay, I preface it back to the interest rate conversation, because you're doing the statistical median static deal. Some of the houses, or not all the houses, are entry level, medium level, luxury.
No, but we don't know until we
retirement
talk.
level.
We don't know
You
until
know
we
what I'm
talk.
saying? You got 83,000 people, but
Not
if
everyone's going to.
83,000, are they all going to be at different price levels? Because
Put me in front of 10 people who own their homes free and clear, and I'll take those people all day long versus the people who own their homes with $100,000 worth of equity.
well, yeah,
That's the point I'm trying to get to.
Gotcha.
So if you want to increase your chances of success, is go to where the money is.
Right.
The money is sitting there already created.
right.
These
That's
people
gonna
are
give you
living
the
with
inventory.
$200,000 a year in cost to operate their households, and they don't have enough. They think they have enough to retire on. And if you want to know how to do that presentation, call me. I'll be happy to discuss it. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything. I'm saying is that as a real estate industry, we can advocate for our clients and our customers to help them build wealth that is legitimate and helpful over the course of their lifetime, if they choose to take that path.
So there's a big conversation right there that Blake's sharing with us. And the conversation in that has to do with the difference between what Blake is doing and what Blake evangelizes, is that sometimes you can be an advisor or you can be a salesperson.
Exactly.
Most real estate people are salespeople. They're transactional. Blake's talking about something here where he can help somebody develop tremendous household net worth over time. And I'm going to show you a way to take that one step further, exactly what Blake did. So you don't want to move out of your property. You've got a lot of equity in your property, and you don't like the 6 point, I'm going to use jumbo because I'm going to go back, 6.92%. That is the conforming loan rate that we just talked about. Again, I'm not giving you APRs. I'm just telling you what OBMMI reports, as I said earlier in the program. Our friends over at Geneva Financial, they've got something called the Home Select program. You can find out about it. Go to rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. How would you like to take and use the equity in your property? Maybe you don't even have to make any kind of a legitimate mortgage payment because of the way the program works. It's a first position, call it a first position HELOC. So when I looked at this for somebody just recently, their effective APR was 2.006. 2.006 on a $1.7 million property. You get to have access to all that equity whenever you need it, and you don't pay interest on it if you don't need it. Think about that one. 2.006 in the market right now. That's an effective APR. Right now, the rate was 6.926 according to OBMMI. If you want more information about either of these things, the Home Select, rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. If you want to know how to build wealth using real estate, because I'll do the math for you. We don't have time today, but I'll do the math for you. There is no asset class that appreciates like real estate when you're looking on the return on capital. The return on capital, because you can leverage
tax
it.
treatment as well.
Tax treatments are there too. Absolutely. Yep. So give me a call. We'll talk about it. I'll put you in touch with Blake and Jim if you want to know about the real estate side. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, give us a call, 800-306-1990. And as we say all the time, make a lot of money so you help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.